might remember him from the Comedy Central roasts of Charlie Sheen, Roseanne Barr, and Donald Trump.
Donald, you've got a great sense of humor. You've been so happy to embarrass yourself on Saturday Night Live, in the casino business.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton, and welcome to WatchMojo.com. Today we're at the Just for Laughs Festival, where we're speaking with comedian Anthony Jeselnik about the limits of comedy.
First year I was here, I was part of Variety's 10 Comics to Watch. Huge deal. And the next year I came back here, I did the Nasty Show, and then I co-headlined a show with another friend of mine. Pretty big deal. Now I'm here headlining my own show. That means next year, I don't have to come at all.
I want to talk about how you first got interested in comedy.
Saturday Night Live was huge for me because it was, when I was a kid, like my parents would watch it sometimes, but it was kind of forbidden. You know, you had to stay up late. I had to like sneak up to see it. And I didn't even understand what was going on, but I knew it was, I hate using this word, but naughty. Do you know what I mean? It was like a bad thing. That's what comedy became for me, was something that was a little kind of off limits.
Who were you crafting your stuff around?
I liked comedy. I liked everybody. You know, I would watch Elaine Boozler the same way I would watch, George Carlin or something. They were all comics, but Stephen Wright was so different.
It's my birthday recently. For my birthday, I got a humidifier and a dehumidifier. Put them in the same room, let them fight it out.
What was it about his act that really drew you in?
Just that it was like it was so joke-oriented. Like it was just these like one or two sentences that were just so hilarious and out of nowhere.
I think my friend Jeff is gay. I don't know. I'm so bad with names.
Comedy Central roasts.
Uh-huh.
Are they as tough as they look?
Well, tonight, Anthony Jeselnik is going to leave his stamp on the roast. And tomorrow, he's going to use that stamp to buy food.
Think about it like this. Like, let's say, like if you asked me what I did last night, and I'm like, oh, it was raining, so I was going to stay in, but then a supermodel called me and said, please come over to my hotel and make love to me. It's 3 blocks away. Just walk over here. And you would go, well, did you get wet in the rain? You know, like, who cares about the rain? Like, it doesn't matter. I'm up there just to say these, like, horrible, mean jokes that everyone can accept because it's a roast, you know, and these jokes I'll only tell once that I love. And I don't even think of myself as insulting people so much as just saying an awful, mean, brutally funny joke.
And Sitch, I don't want to tell you how to live your life, man, but if you spent half as much time reading books as you do chasing skanks, you probably wouldn't have AIDS.
Do you like mean humor? Is that like...
Yeah, I think it adds another level of tension to it. You know, like I talk about a lot of dark subjects in my act because it just adds that tension. You know, if you hear cancer, you're just kind of like, your shoulders come up a little bit, you know, and then you've got to release that tension. So being mean, it's just like, oh, I can't believe you said that to them, to their face, on top of the actual joke that is, you can't do it anywhere else except on a roast.
And Donald, I'm not even sure if you're aware of this, but the only difference between you and Michael Douglas from the movie Wall Street is that no one's gonna be sad when you get cancer.
Is anything off limits in roasts or in comedy?
I don't think anything is off limits in comedy. I mean, you've got to take your punishment. You know, if I tell a joke about rape, then I've got to also be willing to deal with the consequences of that during the show and afterwards.
But I'll never forget this date. You know, we meet up, we go to a bar, we start drinking, we're laughing together, we're connecting. It was great. But then we left the bar. We go back to her place. And as soon as we walk in the front door, she passes out cold on her couch. Now, I went to college. I knew I had a million options. But I'm a gentleman, you know, I'm a gentleman, so I did the smart thing. I just got a blanket, I tucked her in, and I left her a note that said, "You got raped."
I feel like any time a subject is off limits, it's like my job to make a joke about it, or at least try. But on a roast, nothing is off limits, but people will have rules. Like Mike Tyson last year, you weren't allowed to make a rape joke about him, even though he went to jail for years for rape. And I thought that was pretty annoying. Donald Trump said, "You can't say I have less money than I say I do." Charlie Sheen was like, "Don't talk about my mom."
Well, I guess it's just your mama joke, but
I
don't know.
I had a joke about his
Oh,
mom.
did you?
Yeah, that he
Because
had
I don't
made
even
them
know his
cut.
mom is.
No, yeah, no one does.
Okay.
That was kind of the joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But not that she's like trying to be famous, but that I was like, your brother is Emilio Estevez. Like I said, you have a fascinating family. Your brother's Emilio Estevez, your father is Martin Sheen, and your mom is some dumb bitch. and it did well, but they were like, Charlie was like, no, that's my mom.
What, in your opinion, is the most controversial joke you've ever told?
I got in a lot of hot water, I think, last year here. I was doing the Nasty Show. And I don't really talk about sex that much, but I have like a lot of really dark, awful jokes. And I had this joke about that my mom used to be a Holocaust denier. But then we made her watch Schindler's List, and we made her like learn the history of the Jewish people. And now she can't believe it didn't happen twice. And it's a terrible joke, but people got really upset at the Nasty Show. And I was like, people were like, oh, they're going to talk about you in the papers being anti-Semitic. I'm like, I'm not anti-Semitic at all. I just made fun of like every different kind of thing, and eventually kind of blew over. People would come to the Nasty Show just to boo me for that joke.
Oh my God.
I think one show I told it twice just to say I don't care.
This morning I was walking around. I saw a baby locked inside a hot car. So it's been a good day.
Is your onstage persona a persona?
Yeah, I'm different. I mean, if you're talking to me, you can tell that I'm a different person than I am on stage. I think it's more fun to be that way. I feel like almost like a bad guy professional wrestler. I always think that was really funny when guys would like walk into Madison Square Garden and say like, New York City's the worst city in the world, and people would like be screaming at them. It's like, of course, that's the worst thing you could say. But I thought it was hilarious that I just thought, just go with it and just be. If you're just like a total jerk, then you can kind of get away with more. That came up as like, guys, I'm a nice guy, but here's some mean jokes. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming to my room.